Everybody, it's been a minute. I'm not going to sing because I'm not good at singing. And our luck, YouTube would think I was singing a real song and take the stream down. Welcome, everybody, to Ask StreamYard. Now, I am your host, Melanie Dyann Howe. Many of you are used to me. And I want to say it's been a minute since I've been on the show. So here's the deal. I want to let you all know we're going to be moving this show to Fridays. Hey! Turns out I've had a couple changes in my schedule, and Fridays is going to work out a lot better for me to be consistent so I can show up with you every single week for this show. And if you are new to the show, this is our Ask StreamYard show. So we use this show to actually showcase a featured question, many times often asked from our community inside of our Facebook group. And so if you're not part of that Facebook group, make sure you go join it because it's a great place to ask questions and get answers to your live streaming questions, your StreamYard questions, all the things. So we usually we like to take a question and take a deep dive on it. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So today we're actually going to be talking about adding your guests' destinations to your live stream. So this would be, for example, maybe you're doing an interview with somebody and you want to be able to multi-stream to their channels as well. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. We get asked this question quite a bit, and we had a few questions posted in our Facebook group with questions related to this topic. So we thought, hey, makes a great topic for the Ask StreamYard show. So I want to say hello to all of our friends hanging out with us. Oh, we got Blind Guy, his wife, and their life. Hello, you two. It's so great to see you here with us live. It's always great to see you. We love seeing when you're here hanging out with us. So we got Johnny Bean in the house. What's up, Johnny? It's been a while. Tish is here. Greetings from Fan Expo in St. Louis. Oh, so you're watching from a fun conference, I see. That's awesome. Super excited to see you here. The Artist Haven is her YouTube channel, of course. So, yeah, we got Chris Stone in the house. What's going on? Good friend of the StreamYard channel. Definitely an amazing live streamer himself. Doreena's here watching from Ireland. I know that for sure, unless you're not in Ireland right now, but maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Dimebag Darren is here. Haven't seen you for a while either, so it's great to see you. It's super fun to see the same faces coming back and back and back again. So it's always a lot of fun. So, all right, so we are going to get started. I'm going to actually jump in. We're going to start talking about a few of these ways. Let me see here. I got to get organized. you guys, it's been a minute. Like it's been a minute, and I kind of like lost my. What is it you're supposed to say? Your swim legs? Your swim legs? You lost your swim legs or something? I don't know. But those of you that have been around for a while may notice. You may notice something. It's back. Remember this big old bookshelf thing? I took it out of my set. It's back in the set. So I never could quite fall in love with what I was trying with changing some things. I was sort of trying to be a little decluttered down here, meaning less furniture. And I couldn't get there. So we brought this thing back in and it's back. The furniture is back. Many of you told me you missed the big old cube shelf, but it's back in the scene and in the set. I always liked it. Sea legs. Thank you, Tim Heel. Sea legs. My sea legs. I lost my sea legs. I love it when I try to be clever, and it always backfires on me. So I really appreciate when you guys can all help me out with that. So the shelf is back. Yes. So Dale says he missed it. Yeah. Everyone was kind of like, yes. So Mike from Never Let the Machines Win is saying shelving adds depth. I definitely agree. I think it kind of helps. The depth comes from here. Shelving just adds more character, lets me reflect some light. Still working on the lights because I got new lights too. So yes, and Gary likes the lava lamps. Never getting rid of the lava lamps. Those are like they've become part of me now, right? They've become part of me. So, all right, so let's get started here. I want to talk to you all about what we got going on. So we're going to be talking about sharing your guest destinations to your stream. Oh my gosh, I've lost my way around the studio here. There, right there. How to share your live stream to your guest's channel. Now, this is going to, let me back up a sec, because oftentimes we get this request when people are doing interviews or when they're maybe doing a show with somebody else, co-hosting a show, for example, right? So, in fact, our friend Chris Stone here, he's got a show called The Dealcasters that he does with Jim Fuse. So maybe they want to multi-stream that to their channel, maybe their regular YouTube channel, but also their joint channel for Dealcasters, right? So that's one example. Another example would be if you're interviewing somebody and they're kind of like, hey, I'd really love to share this conversation with my audience as well. Can we stream it at the same time as a live stream to my channel? You can definitely do that. And so a lot of times this comes into play when people are co-hosting things together and they have their own channels, or when there's just a guest experience or whatnot. So another example might be that you might have more than one channel. Maybe you kind of have your personal channel, but then you have a business channel and you're going live on that business channel, and it's totally something that you would stream to your personal channel. You might want to do that too, right? So we're going to talk about the various scenarios about how you can do this, as well as a few things to be careful and be cautious about as well, right? So there you just because you can do it, as I always say this, just because you can do certain things doesn't mean you should, right? In fact, multi-streaming is something that I do not necessarily recommend you do right out of the gate if you're just getting started with streaming, because it does add complexities. It adds a number of complexities as well as liabilities. And so you definitely want to be cautious about it. So like I said, just because you can multi-stream using an application like StreamYard doesn't necessarily mean you should or should yet. Same thing, just because you can have background music in your streams right inside the studio of StreamYard doesn't necessarily mean that you should. So we've got all kinds of videos on those topics as well, but I just want to kind of go into that and preface today's conversation with that. So we'll be talking about that a little bit, of course, as well. So let's see here. Tim says I have some buffering issues going on. Uh-oh, that's not fun. Let me make sure I got all my stuff closed that doesn't need to be open, like Discord, whatever. I didn't even know that was on. Let me pause my Google Drive syncing, right? Because we always want to do that. When you're live streaming, you want to try to shut down as many background applications as possible, right? So as I said, I lost my sea legs for a minute. So I kind of had to, I got to get back in the groove, right? Got to get back in the groove. Even somebody like me who streams all the time. Sometimes you lose track of things. You got to get back in the groove. So, all right, here we go. No, okay, good. Scully's House of Thrillers says no buffering over there. So, yes, Doug at SmackDown Outdoors says good to go. All right, cool. I feel good. Maybe it's possible that it's an internet issue on your side. So, okay, let me jump in. We're going to jump in here. I am going to grab a couple banners I made because I just always like to use these banners as we make points. Honestly, you want to know one of my secrets? Shh. Can you keep it a secret? All right, get in close. One of the other reasons I like to use the banners inside StreamYard is because I use that as like my agenda so I don't forget what I'm going to say. That's better than Post-it notes and things like that. So I just use the banners. Really. Shh. Don't give away my secret. All right. You guys ready? Let's do this. Okay. So here's the deal. We're going to be adding, first thing we're going to talk about is the feature that I recommend the most when it comes to this. So if you own your StreamYard account and you've got a guest and you want to have them add their social media channel, let's say that they want to add their YouTube channel, I want you to use StreamYard Teams. So every single StreamYard user has a free additional StreamYard Teams seat. That's what they're called, seats. So what StreamYard Teams is it's where you can actually have a co-host right inside of your account. They are in there. They have some of the same functions that you have. It's great for moderators. It's great for backstage producers. It's also great for co-hosts. So if you're going to have a co-host and you want them to be able to display comments and help you with the stream, then you want to make them a co-host. That's actually one of the team profiles that you can use. You have owner, admin, and co-host. Those are the 3 types of StreamYard team seats you can create. So if you add somebody and you go ahead and give them admin access, you invite them to become a teammate, you give them admin access, they can then add destinations to your account. They are actually able to say, I want to add this YouTube channel, because in order to add a destination to a YouTube or to a StreamYard account, you have to be the admin of that social media platform. So whether it be a Facebook group or whether it be a Facebook page, a profile, or even, you have to be the owner of the profile, Facebook profile. And then, of course, YouTube, you have to be an admin of that account in order to add it as a destination. And so you can actually add your guest into your StreamYard account as a admin teammate. They can then go connect those destinations. And if you don't want them to remain an admin for whatever reason, you could actually then change them to a co-host, which gives them a little less power in regards to your account. But they can absolutely help you co-host the show, like display comments and banners and things like that. So that's the best way to do this. That is my recommendation for how you would want to do it. So let me we got comments coming in. Okay, let me see here. I am going to... Oh, we got people shouting out for StreamYard. I love it. Let me see here. Oh, I'm going to get logged. Oh, I don't want to do that. Sorry. I was going to demo this and I don't have my tab open yet. I got to get my StreamYard open up so I can share my screen and show you what the heck I'm talking about. All right. So here we go. Let me share my screen. Let me make sure I know what I'm doing here first. Okay. Okay, let's see. Get back. All right, so I'm going to be, here we go. Reading some of your comments coming in. The countdown. If you have questions that aren't related to what we're talking about today, I definitely want to encourage you to hop over to the Facebook group and ask your questions in there. It's definitely one of those things. So you do this per show, right? I have different guests every week. Yes, Patricia, really great question. We are going to talk about that here in just a moment. So let me see here. Here we go. Okay. What am I doing here? There we go. Lost my sea legs, right? All right. So if you go into your StreamYard account, if you go to members, you're going to see this little tab right here called members. You click on that and it's actually going to give you a option to add a teammate, right? And so you just click invite team member. I only have one in there. Actually, I can remove this one, remove this person. I can go to invite. You're going to need their email address. So get the email address from them. It does not have to be their StreamYard email address. Okay. It does not have to be. If they have a StreamYard account, does not need to be their StreamYard address, but it's best if it is. It's honestly a better option. So then you can select the role that you want to invite them to. So admin and co-host. You cannot add them as an owner unless they are literally the owner of the account. So you are the owner. You can add them as an admin or a co-host. So there you go. Those are your options. And then you're just going to send the invite. And when you send the invite, they're going to then show up as a teammate. Now, you can absolutely have more than one seat in StreamYard Teams if you want more. Once they're in there, once they go into their account, they're going to notice that they might have a couple options here about what team they want to be a part of. So they'll see theirs and then they'll see yours once they accept that invitation. Once they select theirs, they can go in and actually connect their social media destinations. So if they go into their dashboard, they go to destinations, they'll see all of your destinations you have connected, and then they would just click here and they're going to say add destination, and voila, you basically go from there. So really great question came up from Patricia. She said, you do this per show, right? I have a different guest every week. So you can revoke somebody's access once you add them as a teammate. You can simply revoke their access and then pick your next guest and add their access. Now, here's what I'll say. Not everybody's going to understand how this works. So if you do want to do it this way, if they're not a StreamYard user already, you might have to do a little training with them, right? You might have to train them on how to connect the destination as well as how to move around StreamYard, of course. The other thing you're going to want to do is have an agreement between you and your guest that you are going to remove that destination once your temporary guest that stream is over. Because that destination, even though they come out of your account, it's connected to your account. And so it will stay there. It will honestly stay there. So that is one of the things you want to make sure. You want to remove it if that happens, if you don't want to keep it connected, right? So just delete that destination and clean slate, right? Now, if you have a regular co-host, you're going to want to keep them as a co-host if you want them to be able to control the stream with you. Obviously those destinations will stay there as well. They don't have to stay a co-host. If they stay with you, you can control the stream, of course, but you would select your guest destination when you go to stream. So when it's time to create a broadcast, so Supercoders, Arian, I'm not going to talk about the countdowns, but if you want to post that question over in our Facebook group, absolutely go for it. And somebody will be able to help you out with the countdown. Okay, so right here, we're going to go to create destination. So create a new broadcast. And when you do that, you'll see your co-host destination up here, and you would just select multiple, things at the same time, right? That's how you would do that. So there you go. Now you have multiple destinations, all going to multi-stream out. Now you do have to be on one of our paid plans to multi-stream. So I didn't even cover that. I probably should have said that before I said anything, that you can't, on the free account, you can't multi-stream. So you will not be able to do this if you're not on one of our paid accounts. If you're on our basic plan, then you actually can multi-stream to 3 destinations. If you're on a professional plan, you can multi-stream to 8 destinations. And so depending on how many destinations you want, my hair is crazy today, then you're going to want to make sure you're on the right paid plan in order to do that. So that is definitely the way that I highly recommend you do it. If you have questions about that, let me make sure, or let me answer and let me know what those questions are. I'd be happy to answer them. Put a Q in front. That's the way I like to grab those questions. It helps me see them in the comments. So, okay, let's see here. Let me check in on y'all before I go to the next one for sure. So, Ooh, great question. So, really good question from Packer Dude. Hey, Melanie, my friend. Hey, my friend. Can the stream be shared while it is live or only after it is done? Sorry, I just got here because I'm on a phone call. Or I was on a phone call. No problem. Okay, so here's the deal. You can absolutely just share the stream. In fact, that's another way that you can do this is you can actually just share the stream. So now you can do this after you go live, but you can also do it while you're live. Now, this is not streaming to their channel. They are just sharing it as a shared post, right? So it might show up in the community tab over in their YouTube channel, or if it's on Facebook, they can share it, into a group. They can share it onto a page. You cannot share a stream from a private Facebook group to anything because it is in a private Facebook group and Facebook will not allow you to share that anywhere else, right? You can multi-stream a private Facebook stream, but there are, of course, some things you want to keep in mind in regards to the privacy of your users. So definitely one of those things as well to keep in mind. But you can definitely do it, but the way I just described is absolutely going to share it as an actual live stream. So if you have a teammate and they add the destination, if you add that guest destination to your StreamYard account, it will stream out to their account as a live broadcast. So here's something to keep in mind if you're going to be doing that, right? This is something really important. If you're going to multi-stream to your guest's channel, you want to think this through a little bit. It's your show, right? They're your guest. So if they're not your co-host, like a regular co-host, and they're just a temporary guest, keep this in mind. You need to make sure that as you're streaming, you're addressing both audiences because on their channel, it's kind of like, wait, what's going on here? Who is this Melanie person interviewing my girl that I usually watch? I'm going to lower my desk a hair. Oh, that's better. So keep this in mind, because you want to make sure as you start to talk and in your show, all of a sudden on your guest channel, there's like, your branding and your stuff, and maybe you're kicking the show off. So you might want to say, hey, today, I'm Melanie Dyann Howe, and I'm super excited to have special guest James on the show with me to talk about all things tech. Now, if you're watching from James's channel, what's up? I'm probably new to you. Here's what I do, blah, 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 blah. You probably want to do that just to address the audience, and then obviously let your audience know, hey, today's exciting. We're actually streaming not only here where you're watching me normally, but we're also streaming over to James's channels too. So be sure to say hello. We might display our comment in the comments, but that's how, if you don't see somebody's comment right there with you, that's exactly why. We are streaming to both platforms, both channels at the same time. You definitely want to let your audience know. This is actually just good practice with multi-streaming, right? To let everyone know what's going on. So it's definitely one of those things that you want to do. Patricia says, I'm on the 3-destination plan, so my co-host will be able to add his or her destinations, right? So Patricia, yes, you can add a ton of destinations to your account, but when it's time to go live, you can only stream to up to 3 destinations. So your own destination, his or her destination, and then call it a bonus destination. So if you're already streaming to like YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, there's not room for you to add your guest destination when you stream. You can add their destination to your destinations, but you can't stream to their destination because you max out, right? So that's the answer to that question. So Shawani wants to know, how is this different from someone just sharing the link to your show versus streaming directly to your destination? This is a really great question. It is definitely going to be different. So for example, if you just share a link, it's going to be shared as a post, shared as something. The view counts, none of that's going to count for their channel at all. And then comments maybe on it aren't going to come through to the stream. So if you're wanting live comments or commentary from your guest's channel, then you won't get that if you just share it, right? Now, something else you have to keep in mind, when it's kind of a slippery slope. So YouTube has regulations, YouTube has policies, YouTube has requirements, Facebook does too. It's kind of a gray area when it comes to the topic of duplicate content. So it is always possible that when you stream to your channel and their channel at the same time, that it could possibly get flagged as duplicate content. Duplicate content is essentially when you're streaming something and saying it's yours and it's not, and yada, 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 right? I think as long as you reference that it's a multi-stream, that your destinations are, your cross destinations and things like that, it's typically okay. I have never had anything of mine flagged as duplicate content. I do not think StreamYard has ever had anything flagged as duplicate content, but it's always a possibility, especially if you're streaming to multiple YouTube channels at the same time, because YouTube tends to be a little bit more finicky about it, that it can get flagged as duplicate content. The other thing I will tell you that's really important to think about if you're going to multi-stream to a guest channel or something like that is if you have a license to play certain music. For example, like if you have an Epidemic Sound subscription where you can play songs and music, if you add your guest and you play that music, your guest, if they don't have an Epidemic Sound subscription, that stream is going to get flagged. You're going to get a strike on copyright, and potentially you could get your channel taken down. I mean, all kinds of things can happen when it comes to that. So there's a lot of things you need to consider before you do something like this. What we're talking about today is definitely what I would consider a bit of an advanced strategy when it comes to you streaming to StreamYard. So if you are just now joining us, we are actually talking about streaming to your guest's channel, ways to add your guest destination to your stream. So I kind of going through some caveats and some things to consider as we're going through this for sure. So let's see here. I see a question from Tish from the Artist Haven. Do the comments from the other channel come up in a StreamYard while streaming? Do they look different than the main channel? Ooh, great question. The answer is they definitely will come through if you have added them as a destination and you are streaming to their channel, okay? If you've just shared the post, if they've just shared it, no, those comments will not come into StreamYard. The question of do they look different? They do not look different. They will literally, if it's YouTube, for example, it will just have their avatar with that little YouTube logo covering their face a little bit. It will not actually flag it as, oh, this is from their channel, not yours. That would be super cool, but I'm not sure how they would really do that without cluttering up the studio with a bunch of extra data, which it's already pretty cluttered as it is when you have a bunch of comments coming in. So Blind Guy, his wife, their life says, where will the comments be if you're sharing the stream with a teammate to both of your YouTube channels as destination? So very exact same thing. They will actually show up inside of the studio. So if you're multi-streaming and you are streaming to their channel and your channel from StreamYard, the comments from both channels will show up right in the studio in the order that they come through. So they'll just be mixed together right there inside the StreamYard studio for you to display. So yeah, good question though. Okay, I think I might, it's possible that I may miss some questions. I don't want to miss questions, but I definitely, I'm paying attention to comments. I've got my stuff all zoomed up so I can see profile photos really well because we don't want to be displaying inappropriate profile photos. Okay, so let me see here. The next way I wanted to say is actually address somebody, Wes had a question. And here is the other way we'll talk about. So Wes here, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay, hold on a second. I just saw it. I lost this question. Oh, all right. You know what I need to do? Again, I lost my sea legs. I need to be queuing these questions. I'm scrolling up because I'm trying to find Wes's comment. There it is. Boom. All right, so he says, I share a StreamYard account with 2 other guys, and we all log into the studio at the same time. It's great considering we're in different provinces. I know it's risky, but we're lifelong friends, and I trust them. So this is absolutely the other way that you could stream to your guest channel, is to actually give them access to your StreamYard account. Temporary access to your StreamYard account is what I wrote here because, quite frankly, I do not recommend permanent access to your StreamYard account. However, something you need to keep in mind is that if you do give somebody access to your account until their cache is cleared or something else happens, they can technically always have access to your account unless you contact support and have your account scraped of any logins or instances where somebody's logged in. So what we're talking about is what Wes is describing here, which he says they're all logged in at the same time. The way you would do this is, let's say it's your account, your email. You would send your friend and say, log into StreamYard, use my email. So when they log in, they're going to put their email in and they're going to click get access code. You're then going to get an email from StreamYard with an access code. You will then need to send them that access code somehow. And then they will type that code in. And once they do that, they're logged into your account. Now, this is possible today. Today, this is possible. I do not know if this will be possible tomorrow or 6 months from now or even a year from now. This is currently the way StreamYard has it set up. It is highly possible that it won't stay that way forever. This is just the way that they've set up our credential situation. Don't count on it to be a forever thing because it's highly possible they may make a change. But for now, you could totally do this. So the risk to this is that what if Wes and his buddy get in a fight? What if they don't like each other? And then all of a sudden, his buddy has access to his StreamYard account and he can go live and cause all kinds of havoc, right? Like displaying inappropriate profile pictures, getting your StreamYard or your YouTube account deleted or whatnot, right? So be careful about giving somebody the keys. You're literally handing them the keys to your kingdom at this point. So you need to be very, very careful about the method. Now, he said he trusts his friends. It's all good to go. So you need to be thoughtful about this. Do not just do it, again, as I said, just because you can doesn't mean you should do all of these methods, right? So kind of wanted to talk about that. All right, let me get some questions here in the queue really fast because questions are coming in and I definitely want to make sure I don't miss any. I think I saw one from Peter. I saw one from Tim. Interesting. So Linda, the old bird, says, I can't find, that's a funny YouTube channel. I love it. I can't find destinations on my cell phone. Will they be listed there or just on my desktop? They should be listed. That's a good question. Now that you say that, I'm actually going to find out. I thought they were. Let me check it out. I'm going to log in on my phone really fast so that I can verify. So I'm gonna get a code. Oh, come on. All right, here comes the code. Waiting on the code. Usually comes right away. There it is. All right. We're about to find out, Linda, the old bird. We're about to find out because I like to be right when I answer questions. Log in. And when I am in my account, broadcasts. Yes. Okay. So, Linda, you... Oh, I don't have it with me. Dang it. Yeah. So, wait, right here. It's not going to show up. Up in the top corner, you're going to see 3 lines. When you see those 3 lines, you're then going to get the full menu. But you have to click on those 3 lines. It's called a hamburger menu. And then you'll see destinations. And when you click destinations, it does allow you to see all the destinations as well as add destinations. So yes, definitely there when you're looking at it that way. Let me get these questions in the queue. So yes, the comment, here's the deal. The comments from different destinations, when will comments from different groups appear in everyone's chat? No. So if the people watching from one Facebook group will not see right there on Facebook the comments from the other Facebook group unless you display them on screen using the StreamYard Studio feature of displaying comments, okay? If you are displaying those comments, they'll see them, but they aren't going to see them right there in that chat because they're watching from that Facebook group. People from the other group can't see the comments that you're making either. So not right there. Now, if you display it on screen, they will see it, but that is the only way that will actually be the case. All right, so Tim says, if you're streaming to multi-destinations, how do you know how many people are watching and see comments coming in? Okay, so this is actually an interesting question. Let me see if I can do this without causing havoc. I'm going to show you really fast. Hold on a second. I'm getting there. I'm going to show you. It's not going to give you the exact detail maybe you want, but you will get some detail here. Let me mute my mic. Let me make sure my speaker is not going to all of a sudden create a big old crazy echo. There we go. Okay. All right, so I'll share my screen. All right. So we're going to get inception here, right? That's what's going to happen because I'm sharing the studio. But if you look right here in this upper left-hand corner right there, you're actually going to see, if you hover and just let your mouse hover, you actually will see who's watching. But it's only going to show you where. So this is the StreamYard Facebook page, the StreamYard Facebook group, and then the YouTube channel for StreamYard. It's not going to show you LinkedIn. It's not going to show you Twitter because the data doesn't come in that way from those platforms through the API. But you can see there, and then you can also see who's loved it, who's liked it, but you can't see who's commenting. You can only see the count of people watching, and that is actually really the only way. It's not going to give you the specifics. So if you're on 2 YouTube channels, it will show you, but it can be a little challenging to see all that. But that is definitely one of the ways that you can do it. I see Nick is hanging out with us today too. Yes, Nick. Nick says, we also need a technical difficulty screen if the stream drops for any reason. I think what Nick is referring to is that if your computer does something crazy and all of a sudden StreamYard realizes you're maybe not in the studio, it does it automatically and automatically displays something. But if you do need to take a moment away, you can upload an overlay or even a background and remove yourself from the stream, and it will actually have that overlay and that you manually click in there, which is actually super awesome. So I've actually done that before. When I had a cold, I also made a Be Right Back little video that played while I blew my nose because I'd be like, all right, I'll be right back. I got to blow my nose. And I would play the little video that said, be right back. And it played music and I blew my nose. That's what I did. So kind of one of those things, right? Okay. Okay. Next question. So On Stage VP Podcast says, if I give the finished podcast file to the guest to post to their channels, whether YouTube or not, would it be flagged because you're posting someone else's video? Great question. I do think that it is always possible. Really, if you are, you need to make sure you are clear on the policies. I do believe that if you make sure that you reference that it is a rebroadcast of some sort, that it's not going to get flagged. Or even if it does maybe get flagged, you would have a case. You're saying like, no, this is not me stealing somebody's content. So that duplicate content thing is one of those gray areas. I'm not a YouTube expert. I can't answer that question super duper specifically. I just know that it can possibly happen. A lot of things can happen because there's a lot of bots that are monitoring some of these things. And so it is always a risk, but I do think that if you change the video somewhat, edit the video somewhat, as well as, make sure you're clear on what that video is, then you have less risk. That's what I'll say, less risk, right? Okay, so let me see. I see a few questions coming in regards to... Okay, John Pullum has a question as well. And then I'm going to jump on my next way that you can share to somebody else's account. John says, is StreamYard planning on allowing more people on screen anytime soon? I think their limit is 10 or 12 now, max on screen. So on the professional plan, the maximum amount of people you can have on screen is 10 people. You can have 12 in the studio, but you can only have 10 on screen. On the free plan, it's 6, and on the paid plan, it's 6. So I do not know if they plan to allow more people on screen or not with other upgrades. In fact, if I'm not, StreamYard Business might allow more, but I'm not real sure. So I also do not know if that's in the queue or in the roadmap or not. Let me see. Okay. Oh, did I get caught up on the questions? Oh my goodness, I did. Okay, let's talk about the other way that you can actually do this. So there's a fourth way that I wanted to share. Let me close this over here, by the way, because I'm like still in the other StreamYard studio and that freaks me out. Okay, so the next one is to give somebody, oops, that wasn't it. Have some, like your guest. The other thing is that if you want to connect your guest channel and you don't want to deal with StreamYard Teams, you don't want to give them the keys to your account, your guest, if you want your guest to take the risk, whatever, they can actually temporarily make you an admin of their channel. And if they do that, then once you're an admin, then you can then go in, connect the destination to your StreamYard account. They can then revoke you as an admin. And once that account is connected to your StreamYard account, it's in there, right? So again, this goes back to there's a lot of trust that has to happen in a lot of these scenarios. And so you might want to look at creating some policies, creating some, agreements, legal agreements that you write up and each of you sign. In fact, that's always really smart to do whenever you're having a guest in your channel or in your content, is to get them to sign a release that says you can use this for whatever you want, because you don't want to ever have them come back and say, you're making a ton of money on that guest interview I did for you. I think that you should be giving me some money. You want to make sure, especially if you have a paid channel, meaning your channel is monetized, you can be earning money from YouTube. It's very, 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 very smart for you to have your guests to sign a waiver and a release to do that so that you don't ever run into any issues in the future. But at the same time, if they make you a temporary admin, then you need to agree that when that stream is over, you're going to remove their channel from your StreamYard account. Because again, if you guys get in a little fight with each other, you could still stream to their account and cause all kinds of havoc. So, keep that in mind. You want to have some trust here for sure. The other thing is that they're going to need to revoke you. If they don't revoke you, then you might still be an admin, and you just need to make sure that they actually revoke you. If they don't, and something weird happens in their social media channel, you don't want them to try to come back and say you did something and try to blame you. So just get out of there and don't be an admin anymore. Now, this applies to social media channels. It also applies to Facebook groups. So you can become an admin for a Facebook group, and that will allow you to do the same thing. So that's the fourth way that I wanted to share. If you're just not joining us, we are actually talking about adding your live stream to your guest channel. So if you're having a guest, you're doing an interview, or maybe you even have a co-host, you can absolutely be multi-streaming to both channels, even across platforms. So that's what we're talking about today. And I just shared 4 different ways that you can do this. The first way was to have your guest use StreamYard Teams. That was the first way we talked about. Everybody has a free team seat, an additional team seat. So that's the first way. So make them a teammate, make them a co-host, make them an admin, connect the destination, and then they can even help you with the stream. The other way is to have the guest add you as an admin to their channel. Then you can connect the destination, and then they can revoke that access, of course. And then when you're done, you would delete that destination. You can also use temporary access to your StreamYard account. So you're giving them the keys. Be very, very careful about this. Very careful, because this absolutely is risky, especially if you don't know your guest or it's just temporary. This is not what I recommend, honestly, unless you have a very good agreement and even maybe a legal partnership of some sort with your guest. The other way, of course, is not to actually stream to their destination at all. You would actually just share it as a live post. It is not going to be a live stream on their channel. It's simply just going to be shared as a video or shared piece of content where people can still comment. Those will not come into your live stream studio, and it will not count on their channel as a live stream. It's just going to count as a post. So if you are streaming to their channel, then they are going to get those likes. They're also going to get view counts after the stream is over. So it's going to potentially help their channel. If they just share it as a post, it's not going to go towards any kind of monetization or anything like that. So definitely one of those things for sure. Just make sure, as I always say, always make sure that you 100% understand the liabilities, the policies, when it comes to doing this. It's also something that I can't strongly encourage enough. Make sure that you have some sort of agreement with your guest so that you're on the same page with what this really means and what's going on. Because just because you're like, hey, I've got a really good idea for you, let's stream it to your account too, your guest, make sure you explain to them what all that means. Your guests may not fully understand, especially if they are not a live streamer. If they're not using live video, they may not totally understand what this means. If you stream it to their channel, it's going to be on their channel. Like, it's content on their channel. And so if it's really off brand for them, so for example, let's say they have a professional channel that's all about gardening because that's what their channel is about, but they're going to be a guest on your channel because they're a breast cancer survivor, and your channel is all about like empowering women and health and wellness. And so they're going to come on and talk about how they changed their diet after they survived breast cancer. That has nothing to do with gardening. So it may not make sense, just because you can, may not make sense for you to also stream it to their gardening channel. Does that make sense? So as I said, and as I keep saying, just because you can do all these cool things doesn't always mean that you should. So always think through those scenarios and make sure that what you're doing makes sense, right? So I saw something really funny. John Pullen was like, oh my gosh, I just realized your shelves are back. Yes, you missed that, John, at the beginning of the stream. Had the shelves, I put them back in, and there you go. So let me see if I missed any questions. I'm going to take a sip of water. Hopefully I'm drinking sparkling water, which I also don't recommend because sometimes the bubbles, they can, disrupt your stream, right? Okay, I think I've got all the questions related to today's topic. I feel like I did see another question. I'm just making sure. So Roderick says, is StreamYard planning to add a direct message feature to the professional plans, such as messaging just one person? So right now, I think this isn't all plans. You can do direct messaging. So when you have a stream and you have multiple people, guests, or even, like let's say you have 2 guests in your stream and they're both backstage. So anytime you have a guest, consider using the private chat feature. The private chat feature inside StreamYard actually is where you can chat with people to talk to them. So let me just show you. This is a recent change to the studio. So if you guys haven't noticed this or had any guest streams where you were using the private chat, you may not even realize this is there now. So let me just show it to you really quick. So I'm just going to go into my little test studio here. Make sure I don't deal with any feedback again. Okay. Enter studio. Okay, so let me share my screen again. So out here to the right, this is where you see all, comments, banners, your brand. But the people, it used to say chat, right? Now it says people. So right here, studio chat lets you, hi, you can chat with everyone. However, when there are multiple people in your studio, you can basically share just a message to one person versus everyone backstage or in your studio. So that feature is live. I can't really demo it now because it looks and interacts differently when you don't have anyone in the studio, but it looks different now. It says people, so studio chat, it will let you actually select just one person to private message inside the studio, which is a great feature because sometimes you need to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody versus everyone actually getting the full thing, right? So definitely one of those things I wanted to put out. Wes says, I do an entire show based on taste testing different beers. Yeah, probably wouldn't be super fun. But yeah, you need to be careful about what you're putting on your channel, right? Because that's what your channel's about. So you might go do some interview about something else, like your wardrobe, and you wouldn't necessarily want to put that on your channel. So funny. That's really funny. Okay, so let me see. I saw a question about my camera from a couple people. So I will definitely let you know what camera I'm using. So right now I'm actually using the Sony ZV-E10, and I am using the Sigma 1.6, 16 millimeter. Sorry, the Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4. It goes down to a 1.4 f-stop contemporary lens camera. So that's what I got. That's why it looks so great, because I'm using an awesome camera with an awesome lens. The lens is half of it. So, and you have to be able to connect it to a capture card in order for that to work as a webcam, which we have all kinds of videos and even blog articles about how to do that. So, all right, everybody, I want to make sure everybody knows that we will be live again next Friday. In fact, we are moving the show to Fridays. So if you missed that when I said that in the beginning, make sure you understand that we will be back on Friday I need to change my banner, which I can do while we're live because that is my style. There you go. Why am I singing today? You guys don't want to hear me sing. I am not a good singer. We are not going to go there. But yes, join us next week for another episode of Ask StreamYard on Friday. So we're going to actually move the show to Fridays at 11 a.m. If you had us bookmarked for Wednesdays at 11 a.m., just move that bookmark over to Friday. Hopefully I'll be able to hang out with you each week as we go on, and super excited. So also just real quick, the StreamYard team, some of us will be at the Grow with Video event in Las Vegas coming up here in, oh my gosh, it's coming up on the 23rd of May. So that actually kicks off. It's the 23rd through the 26th. If you're going to be in Vegas for Grow with Video, that's Sean Cannell's event. He's one of our StreamYard partners as well. We will be there hanging out. So if you're going to be there, make sure you come by and say hi to us. We'll be hanging out with y'all and helping you out with whatever you want to help out with live video. So everybody, that's what I got for today. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to say have a great weekend, which is crazy on this show because we're now on Friday. So, but it was good hanging out with everybody, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Take care for now. Dang it. All right, fine. Screwed up. Okay, the private chat thing. Let's talk about that. I see your comments. That, I think, is a StreamYard business feature. See, I screwed up. So inside of our StreamYard account, StreamYard, we use the business plan, right? So this is the business plan that I get to use. Totally forgot. Yep. Some of those business plan features are in here, and it's definitely part of the business plan right now. Will it go back? Will it become a feature in the other? Possibly. But right now, I do believe it's only available in the business plan. So sorry about that. So didn't mean to ask questions because, yeah, I saw Tish's questions like, wait, is that for all plans? Not sure. Don't think so. I think it's just the business plan. Sorry for the confusion. All right. Now let's go back to the thank you screen.